and welcome back to my film and TV channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well. We're going over to a biggie with this one. I am in the minority. I'll tell you now on my views on this, which didn't surprise me because the original I wasn't fully convinced about. Although again, the original of this is a sequel we're talking about today. The original was very well liked as well. I had my doubts about it and sort of problems with it. But today we're going to have a look at the big budget sequel, Marvel Universe, MCU, we're going over. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Please, if you are new to the channel, push that subscribe and push the bell notifications. I try and be honest in my opinions. I try and inform. I try and entertain if I can. I give you other people's thoughts and ideas as well, so you can pass your own judgment. It's not all about me. It's about what other people are thinking as well. So please, if you can join and push that notification button as well, so you know these vlogs are coming out. It'd be great to have you on board and great to get your comments on this or anything to do with film and TV. It'd be wonderful to hear from you. And if you just give us a thumbs up, guys, it'd be much appreciated. Make an old film and TV watcher very, very happy. Yes, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, PG-13, 2 hours 41 minutes. Oh dear. Yes, it's one of those. So you sat in the cinema. It's got to fill your time. It's got to keep you going. I do tend to fall asleep at odd times because I work odd hours, and it wasn't the greatest film for watching at the cinema in 2 hours and 41 minutes. Not when there's a possibility of you falling asleep, because it's sort of the story sort of dawdles along for me at times, which is what it does. But anyway, more of that in a moment when I'll give you everyone else's view and more positive views, of course. It's a superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Black Panther, produced by Marvel, distributed by Walt Disney, of course. Sequel to Black Panther, which came out in 2018. Just had a quick look at that scores. It averaged 7.3 out of 10 on Internet Movie Database and 8.3 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes. Still very well liked. A bit higher than what I would have scored it anyway. It's the 30th film in the MCU universe, or the MCU, that's includes the universe, doesn't it? Directed by Ryan Coogler, who co-wrote the screenplay with Joe Robert Cole. All these scores and thoughts and comments I'm going to give you now are as at the 15th of November, 11 a.m. here in the UK. Rotten Tomatoes like it? Well, they do like it. Rotten Tomatoes audience, 4.7 out of 5. Impressive stats from the audience. So hey, as I say, I'm part of the point 3, unfortunately. 97% positivity. So of the 100 people, per 100 people who watch it, 97 were very positive about it. All credit to them. I'm glad they enjoyed it. Internet Movie Database, a little bit lower. Joe Public, 7.4 out of 10. So there is a bit of disparity there with the thing. But again, 88% positivity, so you can't really complain about that. And who have we got in it? Well, we've got Letitia Wright, we've got Lupita Nyong'o, Danae Garuda, pardon my pronunciations, Winston Duke, Florence Kasumba, Dominique Thorne, Michaela Coel, Tenoch Huerta, Martin Freeman. We didn't see enough of Martin. Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Angela Bassett. And it's about, well, you know what all Black Panther was about, and obviously the sad demise of the star of that, of course, which they didn't obviously want to redo that part in this. They obviously had the thing as included the death in it and the death of the king, and so they didn't want to recast it as such, which is fair enough out of respect. And it's the leaders of Wakanda who fight to protect their nation in the wake of King T'Challa's death, of course. And it was released on November 11th, 2022, and it's the final film in Phase 4 of the MCU. And I think, is that why it got so good scores? I'm not too sure. Grossed up to now, it will have to gross a lot more to get its money back, but as I'm recording this, as at the 14th of November, $331 million after it had a budget of about 250. So from what I believe, it has to get back about $750 million just to make money. So a bit to go yet, but it's doing all right. It's doing okay. If you all base it on what I'm going to say, it'll probably be a flop. But no, it's doing okay. It's fine. It's at least got its money back, and it's on its way, hopefully, to get all its money back once all the commercial side and the advertising and everything else is paid for. Rotten Tomatoes critics, 84%. So again, very similar to the public. An average rating is 7.2 out of 10, just a little bit less, based on 328 reviews. And of that 328, 53 were rotten. That's okay. 275 were fresh, so all good. The consensus, a poignant tribute that satisfyingly moves the franchise forward. Black Panther Wakanda Forever marks an ambitious and emotionally rewarding triumph for the MCU. Yeah, oh, yeah, it is what it is. On Metacritic, a bit more in a bit. On Metacritic, it's got an average of 67 out of 100, so not quite as high. That's based on just 61 critics, so not as many. And it scored anywhere between 50 and 91 out of 100. Let's name and shame or name and acclaim. Movie Nation's Roger Moore, he's a bit like me, not as overly convinced. He said, as I've mentioned in many reviews of films of this ilk over the years, this isn't my favourite genre. Unlike the somewhat better Black Panther, this instalment was always going to be more sombre thanks to the loss of its star. What the film lacks is the will to make that loss heartbreaking. Okay, that's Roger Moore from Movie Nation. Indie-wise, David Ulrich, though he liked it a lot, he gave it 83 out of 100. He said, for all the film's janky pacing, I agree with that, thoroughly mediocre action set pieces, yeah, I mean, where we're getting the 83 out of 100. And the clumsiness with which it's forced to double as backdoor pilot for Disney Plus's Ironheart series. I mean, I don't know how David got to 83. I'm sure we'll find out in the last couple of sentences. Coogler's subthread of the MCU continues to operate at a significantly higher strata of thought, artistry, and feeling than the rest of Marvel's assembly line. So he's based his 83 out of 100 on the fact that it's better than some of the other crap we've seen. So, all right, if you're comparing it to something that's probably he only give 5 to, this might be it. But is it worth it? Is it worth 83 out of 100? Well, David Ulrich obviously thinks so. Robbie Collins from the Daily Telegraph here in the UK said, a near 3-hour endurance run of gloomy photography and turgidly staged, emotionally empty two-way conversations, all seemingly designed to sap the cast and viewers' combined will to live. I'm not going as far as that, but yes, I do agree with some of the sentiment. Peter Bradshaw, though, from The Guardian said, as with the last film, there are bold, extravagant gestures of spectacle, while Wright, Cole, Bassett, Guerra, and Thorne all supply fierce performances. Each of them ups the on-screen voltage simply by appearing. Yeah, but I do want a story that makes sense, a story that follows, and we can follow it from A to Z. Dylan Roth from The Observer said, though as long, noisy and cluttered as any other superhero blockbuster, Wakanda Forever is a sincere and effective genre-mashing drama and one of the better installments in the Marvel oeuvre. So there you get it. It's being compared to the other. I mean, just because something is better than what we've had before doesn't mean it should get reasonably high scores. Or, for me, I've liked some of the Marvel stuff, and I'm not like some of the Marvel stuff, but I'm looking at this as an independent standalone film. I don't really care what's come before or what's going to come afterwards, and I think there's too much of that comparing one thing with another. Right, on to my thoughts, guys, for what they were. As you can tell, I wasn't overly impressed, but I'm going to give it a score. It was okay. I'm going to give it my sit on the fence, splinters in the bum score, which is just 5.5 out of 10. There were bits in it that were okay, yeah. I just can't go mad over it. I can't get into the 98%. I'm a positive. Sort of. I'm mixed. I mean, obviously, Rotten Tomatoes, either fresh or rotten, aren't you? There's no in between. So, but for me, I am in between. I'm not neither fresh nor rotten. And the big problem I've got with this film is that there's just too much going on. Perhaps I'm perhaps at 63. Perhaps I've seen so many films and watched too many films, and I sometimes just want something a little bit simpler. This all seems so very complicated, and I think it's been mentioned by one of the critics before. It's just I like wordy films. I like a lot of to and fro in conversation. I like that, but this is just too wordy without actually moving the story on. And on that sense, it's a little bit mundane and routine. And as characters, there's just far too many. I mean, I want to invest in characters, but, they throw 20, 30 characters at you that, you're supposed to know a bit about. I get a bit bored with it all. And for a series, yes, with little subplots and little characters going off on. Well, as a 8-episode series, yeah, I fully can grow with that. I'd love that, but 2 hours and 40 minutes is just too long. I mean, there's characters that appear for a minute and might only have a 60, 90-second scene. And then that I quite like the characters. I'm invested in them. I like what they stand for, what they've done in the film. And then they disappear for an hour and a half and you don't see them again. and I just can't fully appreciate it all. And rather than being invested and infused with it at times, as I said, it just bores me. It just meanders and bores me. And as I said, it very with my sleep pattern, it does literally bore me to sleep at times because it just goes on. Obviously, I'm in the minority, of course I am, but that's my feeling watching a continuous 2.5 hours. It's got to be engaging. All right, we don't mind the odd little meander, but this is too much. This is too much. It's just too long. The effects can be spectacular. I think they can, but they can also be bang average as well. And they do look as real live action mixed with cartoon once or twice. Certainly once or twice I noticed that. The story's simple. I mean, if you read the synopsis of the story, it's quite interesting. It's simple, but unfortunately, it's put over in a very confusing, long way. All this, there is a pretty stunning feature film, but it just all gets lost a little in the overall size of the package. It's just such a shame. And the action scenes, though big, again, a little bit. We've seen it all before. Nothing fantastic. Right? Water's involved. I'll be watching this thing in the background when that comes out. I'm sure there's lots of action in the water there. It's a very water-based film, the new Avatar, which is, if you don't know what that is, which you probably will. But yeah, it just didn't particularly work for me at all. Anyway, you might enjoy it, and I'm sure, Shane, most people do. So I am in the minority. I accept that. It's just my opinion. I got a little worn out with it all, and thought it was a bit over-egged by people who saying how wonderful it was. And I'm not having it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. Nothing special, and just far too long. If they knocked half an hour off it, I think they could have done a lot better with this as well. Just under 2 hours would have done. Not 2 hours 40 minutes, please. It's far too much for my tired old brain. Anyway, hope you enjoy it. Let me know. Let me know what you think, guys. As I said, it's all opinions, and just because I don't like it, you might love it, and I hope you do enjoy it. And look forward to watching it and go and watch it with a lot more interest than I do, and you've actually stay more awake as well. Anyway, a bit longer this review. Sorry about that. Just a big film. Yeah, big films deserve perhaps a little bit longer. Hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, let me know your comments. Thanks for watching. Until we meet again, and last one thing, don't please stay safe, everyone. Bye for now.